Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Matty Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint green. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome to Tiny's under 10-minute tasting of Old Carter.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, let's get things moving in Tiny's under 10-minute tasting of Old Carter. Tonight's Old Carter is the Kentucky batch. This is 1-101. Bottle 142 of 574, and it's 118 proof. There's only one little tiny pour left in this bottle. This is one of my favorite bottles. I'm Tiny of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I am an executive bourbon steward through Moonshine University. You can contact me at thescotchybourbonboys@gmail.com. Any kind of your tasting needs, I do online, I do in person. I get the whiskey on the online. I'll send you samples. I'll do everything it takes to get a successful tasting. I can find some pretty cool bourbons too, if you need me to. So with that said, we're going to get it right into this Old Carter. Old Carter, Mark and Sherry Carter. They started their own distiller, or they're not theirs, they're blenders. They purchased their whiskey from, and I believe it's from Indiana, on a lot of different on their batches, and they make per batch whiskey. No batch is ever the same. So they make batches for in an interview I saw them, they actually do it for their suppliers. They make batches. Sherry and Mark are the ones that do the blending. They blend throughout, they get it ready, do the batch, release the batch. But they are also connected with Kentucky Owl. That's what they initially signed up for when they started blending, and they did it with Dixon Deadman. And then they formed the Old Carter. Let's see. Let me grab my glasses. It just sucks. Everybody knows it sucks. I say it every time, getting old. Selected and blended by Mark at the oldcarterwhiskeycompany.com, www.oldcarterwhiskeycompany.com, and they bottle it in Louisville, Kentucky. This particular batch, when I went down to Indiana to do a documentary with Bo Cumberland on Alan Bishop. Alan Bishop invited me down there, and we had Super Nash had picked up this particular bottle. We drank 3/4 of the bottle. He took that home and eventually sent me up the rest of the bottle. I've got one pour left, and I'm going to share it with you tonight. The way I rate here on Tiny's under 10-minute tastings, it's 25 for nose, 25 for taste, 25 for body, and 25 for finish. This particular, what's last little bit is one last pour. Cheers, everybody, to a bottle kill. I look forward to this. I'm just going to let this drip in. All right. Tonight, I'm drinking in my Crystal Glencairn. It's a Scotchy Bourbon Boys. You can see the logo on there. Martin Duffy is the North American Glencairn glass representative. He made this happen. He's also a Scotchy bourbon boy. You can get a hold of him through Facebook. If you, your bar, your group want to get your logo on a Glencairn, he will gladly hold your hand and take you that way. The great thing about a Glencairn, one, if you see down here, you can set it on its side and you can roll the whiskey around, picking it up, looking at the side. You can check out what happens to those, what happens, and you can see the legs forming big, thick, long legs. It clings to the side. This is 115 proof. So this is all of their old Carters are done at barrel strength. There is no proofing down. They don't do any proofing down. So let's get right on it. Oh, rich, rich chocolate, caramel. What is it? Roasted pecans. Now, when you're nosing a bourbon, you have dominant nostrils and they switch off. So it's important to find which nostril is dominant, the one that's smelling the best today. Also, if you smell at the bottom of the rim, you get, and then if you open your mouth and go to the top, you get more of the flavor. I get a lot more caramel at the top. Oh, what is that? I'm just trying to think. I can't nail down what that is. Anyways, all right, let's sip this. So sweet and so good. It's a milk dud right there. Chocolate caramel, mid palate to back palate. Chocolate caramel all the way back. It's just a beautiful, awesome, what you expect in a Kentucky bourbon. Mark and Sherry, on this batch, you freaking hit this out of the park. I love this bottle 100%. So the finish is long. It's still going. It's caramely, it's chocolatey, milk chocolate, not dark chocolate, not close to leather, not close to, usually when you're tasting the leathers, the tobaccos and the chocolates, all are really close. This isn't close. This is milk chocolate in the back of my throat and it's still going. I would like to, if this wasn't under 10-minute tasting, I'd let you know how long it is, but we got to get going on. So the color on this is a dark, rich. It is definitely I gotta say it's molasses color. So it's a dark color. So I'm gonna put down on the nose. I am going to rate this nose a 24. It's not, I don't know. I want to give it a 25, but I don't think there's an aspect of it, just a little bit of more what I wanted. And, you know, it's funny because I said I always have a pen, and I do. I'm going into pen number 2. So on the nose, I give it a 24. The palate, oak, chocolate. I give the palate 24 too. But here's where it really does. I give the body, this is a full body bourbon, fills your whole mouth. It still has my mouth full. I give the body a 25. It's a perfect. And as far as the finish goes, I will have to say it's a long finish. It's delicious. It's what I want. I've had ones that throw up surprises. There's no surprises, straightforward. So I'm going to give it a 24 on the finish. For this old Carter, gets a 80, 88, 92. This ends up with a 97 out of 100. Now, folks, honestly, I did this one. The old Carter is a very expensive bourbon. When they release these blends, they're limited edition and they never get done again. And I'm sad to see this bottle go because this is one of the best bottles of bourbon. There's a bunch of them I've had, but this is right up there at the top. A 97 out of 100. Probably, I believe that's the highest rating that I've given on the Tiny's under 10-minute tasting. So with that said, everybody remember www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Check it out. You can get to our Patreon through that, through the website. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and all major podcast formats. Check us out, our podcast, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And also we got a whiskey live coming up Friday, February 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 2022. Make sure you check that out coming up. And remember, everybody, good bourbon equals good friends and good times, and get the hell out there and live dangerously.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
The watershed story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours. Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com.